Obviously, he's disappointed, although he really shouldn't be. I think, a 4-year sentence here with already credit for the year or so that he has in, I think he did very well with respect to all of the drama and all of the circumstance around this trial.
When the judge slammed down 50 months in federal prison, Sean Diddy Combs collapsed. His family sobbed. The courtroom exploded with reaction. But here's what the headlines aren't covering. The real nightmare hasn't even started yet. Because according to a former mob boss who spent years behind bars, Diddy's biggest threat isn't the sentence. It's what's waiting for him inside those walls. Michael Franzese knows this world better than most. As a former capo in the Colombo crime family, and when he analyzed Diddy's situation, his assessment was chilling. Based on Diddy's lifestyle, his fame, and the years, Franzese believes there's a genuine possibility he might not survive psychologically. The isolation, the stripped-down existence, the distance from everything he's ever known, it breaks people who've lived at the top. But let's be clear about something. First, 50 months might sound heavy, but it could have been devastatingly worse. Prosecutors wanted 11 years. They pushed hard for a sentence that would have kept him locked away until almost 60. Instead, the judge showed what many are calling shocking leniency. With time already served, Diddy's looking at roughly 3 more years inside. Franzese himself said Diddy shouldn't be disappointed at all. When you consider the disturbing evidence, the emotional victim testimony, and the absolute media circus this became, 4 years is practically a gift. Here's where things get dangerous, though. Diddy won't be going to a minimum security camp, those comfortable, club-fed facilities with open grounds, no fences, and a campus-like atmosphere. His profile is too high, his wealth too visible. The Bureau of Prisons looks at someone like him and sees a walking target. Not necessarily for violence, but for exploitation. Franzese dealt with it himself because of his mob reputation, but Diddy represents this threat multiplied by 100. So he's headed for medium security. Most likely. And according to Franzese, that's not terrible. Violence isn't as prevalent because most inmates are doing manageable time. They've got something to lose. They want to go home. But Diddy could actually be safer than people think because he represents opportunity, a golden ticket in inmates' minds. Twisted logic, but it's prison logic, and it keeps people alive. His lawyers are fighting to send him to FCI Fort Dix, a massive low-security facility in southern New Jersey. They're targeting RDAP, the Residential Drug Abuse Program, which could knock up to a year off his sentence. For someone serving 3 more years, that's huge. But Fort Dix isn't the safe haven they're selling. Christopher Zuckes, author of the Federal Prison Handbook, describes it as unpredictable with serious gang activity, contraband problems, and staffing issues. And here's the terrifying part. Fort Dix is packed with Tupac Shakur fans who believe Diddy had something to do with their hero's murder. Let that sink in. Diddy's about to walk into a facility full of people who think he's responsible for Pac's death. And with Keefe D's trial starting in February, those rumors are exploding back into the spotlight. Because Keefe D's entire defense is built around one claim.
The man charged in Tupac Shakur's murder is speaking out from behind bars for the first time. Dwayne Keefe D. Davis insists he was 300 miles away when the rapper was shot. Now he's pointing the finger at someone else. Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katursky has this ABC News exclusive.
He killed Tupac because Diddy put a hit out on him and Suge Knight. Whether it's true doesn't matter inside Fort Dix. What matters is that inmates have already decided who's guilty. Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, isn't holding back about any of this. When asked about the sentencing, Gene said,
"My heart goes out and it says, come and feed them beans."
He doesn't care about Diddy's pain or what he's facing. This is a man who once said he'd give his life to protect Diddy, and now he's openly celebrating his downfall. Why?
You understand? This is somebody that at one time I would have given my own life for. And to know this nigga was trying to get people to take my life because I was trying to teach them to be right by people and tell them to be right by people. I have no remorse for this dude, bruh. To see him like that, I know there is a God.
Right. When Gene saw footage of Diddy breaking down in court, dropping to his knees crying, he felt pure satisfaction.
Diddy in court, the artist got him, you know, looking at these pictures with Diddy in court, bruh, the artist got him crying. The artist got a hold in his head. The artist got him dropping to his knees at the time of the verdict, crying on the chair.
Gene repeated, making sure everyone knew exactly how he felt. Inmates are starting to believe Diddy might have had something to do with Biggie's murder as well. The theory is that Biggie wanted to leave bad boy records, and Diddy couldn't allow that. Whether it's true doesn't matter. People believe, and those people are locked up with him. The Keefe D trial complicates everything exponentially. His defense revolves entirely around implicating Diddy. But Gene broke down why this might not stick legally. You can't rely purely on circumstantial evidence. Meanwhile, the Cassie Ventura situation revealed something crucial. There's footage of Diddy chasing her down a hallway, throwing her to the ground, and beating her while defenseless. That video destroyed any credibility he had left. Text messages show her explicitly telling him, "You treat me like a ragdoll. I'm somebody's child." And when she tried to leave, we saw what happened. He chased her down and attacked her. One commentator made a chilling point. Someone like Cassie who knows where all the bodies are buried, Diddy can't afford to just let them walk away. Witness too much. She could destroy him. So the idea that she was free to leave ignores the reality of abusive relationships and the power he held over. Inside the courtroom during sentencing, Diddy tried showing remorse. He broke down in tears as an 11-minute video about his life played. "I want to apologize again to Cassie Ventura for any harm I caused," he said, voice shaking. He called his actions shameful and sick. But prosecutors weren't buying it. They pointed out he already had public appearances lined up for the following week. Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic called his behavior the height of arrogance, and the defense strategy might have backfired spectacularly. During pre-trial motions, they argued that Cassie Jane and Mia weren't victims and didn't have a right to address the court. Judge Subramanian took offense. He called it inappropriate. Instead, 5 different lawyers testified for the defense, and only one even mentioned the victims. And that lawyer said Cassie consented, that she knew what she was getting into. Completely tone deaf. The real question isn't whether Diddy can physically survive prison. It's whether he can psychologically survive the complete annihilation of his identity. Can someone who's been Puff Daddy P. Diddy, all these larger-than-life personas, can he handle being nobody after decades of being everybody? That's the actual test. Not violence or gangs. The test is whether he can look in the mirror daily and accept what he's become. And when he finally walks out those gates, the world will be watching. Will he fade into obscurity? Come back nobody wants? Seek revenge? Or actually become the changed man he claims to be? Nobody knows. Not his lawyers, not his family, not even Diddy. Because right now, sitting in that cell, he's just trying to survive. Each day. One thing's certain, the name Diddy will forever be associated with this moment. Not the music or business success. The trial, the video, the victims, the sentencing. That's his legacy now. And for a man who spent his life controlling his narrative and building an untouchable empire, that might be the cruelest punishment of all. Because you can survive prison. You can't survive being remembered as a monster.